Just wing of the party forced Mitt Romney into basically shutting up and ultimately pushing out, arguably, his openly gay foreign policy advisor, Rick Grenell. Brian Fisher had led that charge, the American Family Association's Brian Fisher. He's been a guest on this program a number of times. This is what Brian Fisher had to say. This is how he spiked the football. Watch this.
If Mitt Romney can be pushed around, intimidated, coerced, co-opted by a conservative radio talk show host in middle America, then how is he going to stand up to the Chinese? How is he going to stand up to Putin? How is he going to stand up to North Korea if he can be pushed around by a yokel like me? I mean, I don't think Romney...
By a yokel like me. So doesn't Fisher have a point? Is this a problem with Mitt Romney?
He does have a point, Tom. It's true. And I think beyond that point, the thing that nobody seems to be talking about, I talked about it on my show last weekend, is about this whole Ron Paul movement, this slowly trickling Ron Paul movement that's happening in all the states where he's going in and he's winning all these delegates. He's taking over state parties because state parties have had enough or they don't want Mitt Romney. So the truth of the matter is it's a very, very slow progression in which the Republican base is separating from the nominee, including members of the Congress.
They just took Nevada, I think, in the last few hours. They took, what is it, Maine
Alaska,
earlier today?
I want to say that Ron Paul is getting half the delegates out of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney's home state. Wow. I mean, this guy is really doing some damage here, and it's because people don't want Mitt Romney.
I don't know. I mean, they're not going to Ron Paul for leadership on North Korea.
No, they just want somebody else.
I mean,
Look, be anybody but Romney vote.
Look, I think what you have here is a radio host that's probably overplaying his influence. One of the things we know is that if you followed this Grenell story, you saw that you did have social conservatives that came out and said this. How could you support somebody who so openly supports gay marriage, and how can you have them on their campaign? And then it got played up by a liberal drumbeat in the media.
It's
totally true. No. It's totally true.
At all.
Because the liberal media did perceive criticism from the right on this and felt like, hey, this is a great story, we're going to cover it, and that's what happened.
The media picked up the story after this gentleman was already fired. He got fired for being...
He resigned.
Or he resigned, I'm sorry.
There was mounting pressure.
He resigned because the Republican Party or some members of the Republican Party had a problem with who he loved or who he wanted to be with him. They had a problem with that. Therefore, they told Mitt Romney they don't want to be part of the campaign. Instead of Mitt Romney making a strong leadership saying that he's the best spokesperson in the Republican Party on national security, he caved to his party. And we, as the Democrats, said this is horrible. And we are a party that believes that everybody should have the opportunity to succeed.
But you didn't rush in at the end. It wasn't a bunch of
my understanding is that the reason that he resigned was because he was basically told, shut up and stay in the corner. You know, don't.
Yeah, I wonder how these things play out. I don't know, but I do know that functionally.
What he's saying.
I do know that functionally, if he's good at what he does, it shouldn't really matter. I mean, the point that he's there for is to represent his candidate's positions in whatever capacity that he can.
But his candidate wouldn't let him represent those positions. I mean,
well, maybe they came to some sort of mutual agreement. I don't know.
The mutual agreement was that he left the campaign.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and campaign strategists do this all the time, by the way, when they feel like they become a distraction.
Okay. Well, we'll see how this all plays out. Richard Fowler, Vince Colonnese, thank you guys.
Thank you,
for being here tonight.